Peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace. Peace. So, this video is about the straw man. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I often hear people talking about creating trust. I often hear people talking about public and private, being a secured party, being the creditor, being the debtor, and basically not knowing the difference between, or not knowing the difference, or not knowing the proper relationship between you and the straw man, which is not you and is not your straw man. So basically, this colonists on our land, and what they've done to basically keep us suppressed is, as soon as we were born, they put a bond on us. They basically bond us to them and their system. The word bond just simply means to connect. Like, if you ever said, "Oh, I feel a bond between a person," you feel a connection between a person. Or if you, melt two pieces of metal together, you bonded them. Or, if you, I know, I used to deal with fiber optic cable, so we used to splice fiber optic cable as well as copper cable, and that would create a bond so that light can travel from one fiber optic cable to the next, or so that electricity can travel from one copper cable to the next. So that is a bond. A bond is a connection. That's all it is. Whether it be bonds dealing with, commerce, that bond is connected to something that has a monetary value, which then in turn gives value to that bond. So as an example, when you have silver and gold and you create a derivative or something that's derived from it known as a certificate, that certificate is a bond. It's connected to that piece of silver or that piece of gold. So it's simply a connection. And I know a lot of you may know this, but this is for Moors who don't fully comprehend that process yet. Because knowing what a bond is and what it means is how you can further separate yourself from this birth certificate. So the birth certificate is a bond that was placed on you the moment that you were begotten, the moment that you were, you exited your mother's womb, to again connect you to their system. Now, it's a transmitting utility. The word transmit, trans means to change, right? And it's a utility because it's an instrument, right? So they're using that instrument to transmit something. What exactly are they transmitting? They're transmitting your energy. Literally, that's it. Literally. Whether it be your work labor, your artistic value, anything you produce, anything you create, and anything you own. So by you doing business in that name, and it is distinguished from the name that your parents gave you, but for you to do business in that all capital letters name is how they get access to your estate. The birth certificate itself is not an estate. Look up the definition of estate. Estate means land. A piece of paper is not land. It's derived from the land, but it is not land. Right? And since you are part and parcel, you are part of the land, and you cannot remove your feet from the land. Whether you be in a house, whether you be on a plane, it doesn't matter where you are. Your feet will never be off the ground for it permanently, which means you are part of the land. So in order to get access to your land, they have to get access to you. And since the universe is mental, they had to make you think that you and it are one and the same. So they had to get you to think that you are the birth certificate and the birth certificate is you. That's the attachment, that's the bond. And since it is derived from them, since you are attached to it, you are attached to them. And this is how they get access to your estate, because you'll buy a car in that name with that account number that they call a social security number. Now people have been using the word account wrong, because the word account is not a noun. It's not a thing that you can touch. So when you say bank account, that's not a noun. The word account means to count. So since you are energy and your labor is represented as energy, they're basically counting how much amps or how much volts or how much energy output you're putting out. You understand what I'm saying? So by you getting a car in that name, and that car has a monetary value, they're accounting how much energy you're going to put into them to keep that car by placing a monetary value on that car and a monthly statement on that car. And then since that account, or since that social security number is what they're using to account for your energy, it's still recorded with them. So even those people claiming the remedy is to authenticate the birth certificate, when you do that process, you're still going to them as the issuing authority, which means they will always maintain authority over that. It doesn't matter if you have a seal on it or not. And when you authenticate the birth certificate, there was never any transfer. There's no proof of transfer where they transferred it to you. There's no documented evidence where they appointed you as a trustee at all. You know, when you're dealing with trust law, and again, trust is an abstract noun, so you can't touch it. You can't get access to a trust. You know, that's how they're fooling you. You can't get access to something that is because you know, when you're dealing with nouns, you're dealing with a person, place, thing, or an idea. A trust is an idea, which makes it an abstract noun, which you can't touch that which is abstract. So they have you thinking that if you authenticate a birth certificate, you now become administrator of the account, when you have no access to any Federal Reserve banks. You can't even get into your own account without their permission, your own so-called bank account without their permission, because it ain't yours. You get what I'm saying? So again, if you look at the birth certificate and you look at a voodoo doll, the birth certificate is a voodoo doll. They do things to the birth certificate. They'll send things to that birth certificate name and then have you answer for it. Just like when you poke a voodoo doll, the person is poking it to make you feel something. And like that person just commented, birth, B-E-R-T-H, is birth, B-I-R-T-H, which the root word is bear, as in you're bearing a burden, as in bondage. So if you have a chain attached to your leg, you're bearing that burden, because you can't go anywhere without that chain, which is revealed to you in the book of Revelations, when they tell you that no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the name or the number associated with that name. That name is an all capital letters name on the birth certificate, and that number is a social security account number on that birth certificate, which you can't even buy a car without that. You can't work without that, and you can't even buy a house without that. You know, which is showing you how they're controlling your life. So you can't control that instrument. You can't control the birth certificate. You can't declare yourself the administrator of something that's not yours, something that you didn't create. That's like me walking into your house and saying, oh yeah, I'm the administrator of this house now. Did you appoint me? Did you give me permission? Did you any written authority whatsoever? No, you didn't. I just went in there and made a claim, and that was it. And this is where Moors don't realize why some why we suggest you do a name correction is so that in your
Alright.
mind,
What's up,
in your
y'all? Peace
mind,
and
because
love.
again,
Peace and
the universe
love.
is mental.
Understand?
The birth certificate only works because of your
Gonna
mind.
get this
In
thing
your
going in a
mind,
second,
you separate. Okay,
understand?
I'm no longer,
This is a test.
I'm no
See how
longer
it comes
John
around.
Doe.
About to put this thing on multiple
I'm
platforms.
free national name
See
guy.
how it runs right now on YouTube.
So now in your mind,
Alright.
you can begin to separate.
know
Okay,
what's up.
that's not me.
Peace.
That never was me. You know, this is where the I am that I am comes into play, where you've always been you. It's just you've been tricked to think that you were it, that birth certificate, that all capital letters name, which is how they get access to your stuff, right? Then some people will say, you know, if you create an EIN number or get an ITIN number and all that stuff, then you can better control that. You can now do things in public, right? As if you're not God and you can't do whatever you want at all times. Because by getting an EIN through the IRS, which isn't even government, which is going to the same entity that put you in bondage in the first place, you're just trading one slave master for another, which they all work on the same big ass plantation. So it's kind of like if you look at Deutsche Bank and then look up their subsidiaries, you'll see that these aren't just individual banks. They're all under the same umbrella, so you're still dealing with the same entity. You know what I'm saying? So by you getting the EIN number, you're just replacing a social security number with the EIN number, which means the process is exactly the same. Why? Because they can still tax you with that number. They can still see that, okay, you bought a car in that number instead of a social security number, and you're managing, that EIN just like you were managing the social security number, so we can still get access to your stuff. Why? Because we know what you have. Why? Because you're registering it under that EIN that they have access to. So it's not private, it's public. Which, why would you, if the Fourth Amendment says you have the right to security in your person's papers and effects, why would you want any of your stuff to be public? This is where I see it, that Moors don't comprehend the difference between public and private. Because when I sell my book, I'm doing that publicly. But that doesn't mean you have the right to see how much I'm making off the book, who I sold it to, none of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Which, if you have a business and you have an EIN number and you're making transactions, they get to see all of that stuff. So what about it is benefiting you when you can do the same thing without it? Then, if you look up, things that Donald Trump is doing, and House Resolution 25, they're talking about dissolving the IRS. So if your business, your EIN, is predicated on a system that they're trying to dissolve, when they dissolve that umbrella corporation where you got permission to do business from, what does that mean for you? So where'd your salvation come from? Besides, you jumped through a hoop and you felt good about yourself, when all you had to do was start off without any of their BS, run on the Caesars with the Caesars, I don't want none of your crap, and just do things allodially. Literally. Just go out there and sell your product. You don't need an EIN to do it. All you have to do is keep account of how much you're making. That's all accounting is. So it's literally simple, and it sucks to see that our people are swindling our people into this stuff and making them jump through hoops. And the other part is, it's sad that our people don't see how simple this is. And it's because they're expecting a super complex thing to save them, when nothing in nature is complex. It might be intricate, but it's not complex. Just like if you think having an EIN will be better for you to account stuff and you need a bank account to see how much money you're making. Well, if you're selling your product and you're keeping a receipt of how much product you sold that day, then you have an account of your stuff. Literally, that's it. Even my bird is nodding yes, right? So all that EIN stuff and birth certificate stuff, it is a fraud ab initio. It doesn't matter if you think, well, since we're in this time right now, it can benefit me right now, I'm just gonna get it right now. That's fine. But remember, you reap what you sow. So if we keep sowing into their institutions, that is what keeps it alive, because remember, it's a transmitting utility for your energy. So if you keep putting energy into their system, our stuff is never gonna develop. It's like this. If Our free national government is a raspberry seed, and their colonial occupation is a tomato seed. And we keep saying, and the tomato seed is sprouted. And then you look at our seed, our raspberry seed, and say, you know what, it's not sprouted yet, so let me just deal with this tomato until that sprouts. So now you're not going to give that raspberry seed any water. You're not going to help it germinate. You're not going to keep it in the right conditions for it to actually grow, because you're so focused on this tomato plant that already sprouted. You're so used to that tomato plant that you don't want to do anything else. You just want it to be easy that, okay, you know what, these tomatoes are already growing, so let's just deal with that for now until the raspberry seed somehow plants itself. Remember, you reap what you sow. You get out what you put in. So if you put nothing into your Moorish government, or you put bare minimum into your Moorish government, that's what's gonna remain. So, and when I say Moorish government, I mean your own private capacity to do business as well. Because if you're tired of working for these Europeans and working under their control, if you just stay there, then you're gonna stay there until you actually begin to take steps to creating your own business the way you want to do business, quote unquote, under the table, which is how it should be. Then you're never gonna get that if you don't put your energy into it. And it's literally that simple. That simple. And by not doing business in that straw man doesn't mean you're throwing it away. Because remember, Noble Drew Ali said, don't throw away that name. Because that's proof that we were in bondage. That's proof that you did it to me. So don't throw it away, but just slowly lean off of it as much as possible until you no longer need to use that stuff, because that's their stuff. And it doesn't get any simpler than that. Doesn't get any more complicated than that. etc. And as far as being a secured party, you're never going to be secure in a system that you do not control, that you can't control. Because remember, it's their stuff. They created it. You can't control what someone else makes. You can't, because you didn't create it. So you'll never be secure, literally secure. Like, I feel secure in this situation. I feel like I can control this situation. Or I feel like if anything happens negatively in the situation, at least I was able to control it. So when it comes to my books, as an example, if my books don't sell, at least I was able to create something on my own accord and invest into myself to see the capabilities of myself. Instead of, let me try to get with an already established organization, submit to their rules, and then hopefully one day they'll push my product. No, I push my own product. And if I fail, at least I put in the effort and I failed and I learned from that. Not, let me try to make this easier, just get an EIN number so they can track what I'm making. I never have any privacy because I got to report to them for my taxes and all that stuff. Nah, that's not private. That's not even public. That's them controlling everything and you allowing it. That's not free. That's not the solution. It's not. The same type of control and access to the information that they have on the birth certificate, they have the same type of control and access on the EIN number. It doesn't matter if it's tax exempt or not. Why? Because even if you get an EIN number that's tax exempt, or the ITIN number, you have to reapply for it. Which means it ain't yours if you got to apply for it. When it comes to my book, I don't have to ask no one permission to print it. I just have to have enough fiat to do it. Which means I have to do the necessary work to get enough fiat to keep my book in circulation. That's me controlling my own business in a lodium without anyone telling me how to do it. When I can't do it, I got to pay taxes and all that crap. Pay taxes to who? A government that doesn't support me? Pay taxes to who? A government that doesn't represent me? What type of freedom is that? All right, so again, an account means to count. It's not a noun. It means to count. Trust is not, it's an abstract noun. So it's not a thing you can touch, right? So when people say put things in your trust, they're saying record things in your trust, which just keep an account, which just means keep an account of what's yours. That's it. So if you got two or three properties, you put in your trust. I manage these properties. Here's the title to these properties. These titles belong to my heirs or whatever. That's an account right there. Do you need an AN number for that? No. What about your restaurant, your business? Do you need an EIN number to know, okay, I'm low on tomatoes. If I want to create these meals to make this money, this amount of money for the week, when this meal requires tomatoes, I need to buy them right now. That's you keeping account of your business. Do you need an EIN number for that? Do you need an EIN number for someone to come up to you and say, hey, I like your product, can I buy it? Do you need an EIN number for that? Which you should start thinking, okay, if I don't need an EIN number to just do regular stuff, if you look up the definition of business in Black's Law Dictionary, it'll say it has no legal definitive meaning and applies to everything that you do. So then start thinking again. I need a business license? If business is everything that I do, which is my life, I need permission to live my life? Even though the Declaration of Independence says you have the right to the pursuit of happiness, which you conducting your business is you pursuing your happiness. So now they're going to tell you need a license for it. And since you think, you know what, all this UCC, secure party creditor nonsense that I don't even fully understand, but I want it, I'm just going to submit to their stuff. Does that make sense to you? It shouldn't make sense to you because it doesn't make sense, period. Think about your life without the birth certificate. What changes? Nothing. The only thing that changes is you're no longer thinking about that. Once you stop thinking about that, then you actually want to start doing regular normal things. You'll see, oh shit, they are really controlling everyone's life with this. That's the problem. Not you trying to put a band-aid over it and get an EIN number. Because by you trying to put a band-aid over it is them creating the problem and then offering you a fake solution, which means the problem never changes. You're just changing the symptom, which means the issue is still there. They're still controlling it. And since that is such a harsh reality and seems like a major obstacle, a lot of our people just want to, you know what, I'm just going to get an EIN and submit. Name one revolutionary that submitted. Did Fidel Castro submit when the United States put an embargo on his whole country and try to stop them from doing business freely? Did they submit? Or did they go through what they had to go through to reach the level of producing, like, I think it was 80% of the world's sugar, which boosted their economy because they didn't submit to the United States? They struggled. It was hard for them, but guess what? They became, I think, the world's top 5 sugar producers by not submitting. Not saying, you know what, it'll be real easy if we just do business with the United States. They're like, nah, these people trying to control our economy. Nah. They're trying to control our livelihood. No. Matter of fact, get off our land so we can take care of what we need to take care of. That was not no submissive, let's just bow down to them. Nah. And he wasn't this evil man that they try to portray him as. If he was evil, he would not live till he was 90. 99, completion. Stop submitting. Stop falling for the okie doke. The birth certificate is not you. You are not it. That is not your account. You will never control it, period. Their goal is to make you think you can control it. When just by you operating, not even knowing that it's a straw man, you buying in that name, you getting credit cards in that name, you were administering their account to suck your energy. So what makes you think by you knowing now that it's gonna change anything? It doesn't change anything. All it changes is your perspective on a thing that's still negatively affecting you. And since you got the Stockholm syndrome, since you just say, you know what, it's not affecting me negatively, now you think it's okay. That it doesn't change what it is. So if I put a ball and chain on your leg, and you know it's regular iron ball and chain, so it looks like iron, and then someone tells you, you know, Islam family, if you just paint that gold, you become the secured party creditor to that account, and you just paint it gold, and now you say, yeah, this is mine now. Meanwhile, you're still dragging and lugging that thing around. So what really changed? You still in bondage. What changed? Nothing. Soon as you sever that connection to your leg, soon as you sever that connection to the birth certificate, that's when things will really change. And you will really see the problem, because they're controlling everything via that. Not just that alone. It's the minds of the people, getting the minds of the people to believe in that, and then believe in the EIN, and then believe in all these traps that they're setting up for people, and you'll see nothing changes. It's not that complicated. Peace, Moors.
What's going on? I didn't know who you were.
Okay? What you doing? So that's why. All right. What you?
Oh shit.
Open your door up.
Shit, what the fuck? Just pull it harder, pull it harder, pull it harder. going on?
I didn't know who you were.
Okay? What you doing? So that's why. All right? What you doing?
What the fuck, bro?
What you doing?
Bro,
What you doing?
What the fuck, bro?
https://www.twitch.tv/videos/57473910
He said I'm next to come out. Why he break mine? Come on, put your phone down, brother. Why? I told you to. Put your phone down. What? I can't put it down. I'm gonna knock it down. Put it down. Step out. Step out. man. Don't disrespect me, man. I'm gonna find it out anyway. Things when I get up. All right. Press that when I get up. Be safe, man. I just picked my boy. I'm not. Stepping out of the car. No, you can. You cannot pull me out of the. Yo! Yo, why you pulling a gun on me? Why are you pulling a gun on me? Why are you?
a gun on me? Get out. Why are you pulling a gun? Why are you? Why are you pulling a gun on me? Why are you?
out the head, all underground.
Health boost. Health boost. Yeah. Alright. What's up, y'all? You already know the DJ Key. I got more tracks for you. Peep this one out.
Rap plays, nigga. Rap plays. Rap plays, nigga. Rap plays.
From Naptown to Sacktown, this is DJ Chaotic. Rap Blaze.
Yeah, what's up? You already know what's going down. You all been chillin'. This is Rap Blaze. And this is Black. Yeah, just let you know this is some shit going down. We got both tracks for you. We was thinking you got some shit to bang to while it's on here. Hey, D-Boy tracks. Ah, there you go, D-Boy.
What's up, y'all? You already know. This is DJ K-Pop. Let's keep our more than Rap Blaze beats and bangs coming out for you. You know what I'm saying?
health boost. will ignore us last time. Alert! Decoy! Alert! You are surrounded. Stay hero or fight through the data downstream. Data downstream buffering. Decoy. After you erase all the BOTs and demon programs on a server, you will be taken to the next open port. You must go now. Get through this area and study them. You may come back for data you have not noticed. Decoy, I have found various data on the Illuminati Tao of mind control. I have detailed files that will take some time to relay to you. Decoy here too. If you want to hear all that I have found, you may have to hide until 100% of the data has downstream to you. Then you continue to the next server. I know you, Decoy. You rather blast, blaze, and listen to the downstream. So, here are some tracks from the studio. When you direct your objective, you can listen to the rest of the data then teleport. I will repeat this data history as normal so you do not forget the record of events while on each server. I will begin downstream now. Data downstream active. Here is what I have found from this server, Decoy. I have found some data on how humans are set up for demon entity control, which in turn leads to the inner demon to reveal itself. Here, Decoy, a teaching in cult philosophies. This is an important ongoing aspect of the mind control. Volume 2 introduced this subject. Learning plays an important part in perception. The programmers try to get their victims to subscribe to philosophies and ideas that will make it hard for them to rebel against their controllers. This is what is termed indoctrination. The same methods of teaching that any other educator would find useful are employed. Ways of thinking are incorporated by the slave via handlers, programmers, and the cult they belong to. Everyone tries in their own way to make sense of life. This is a natural brain function, so that the human mind can understand how to deal with the future. The mind takes raw data and then applies some type of logic and comes to conclusions. Once accepted, these conclusions can be as hard as nails, and they will deny any attempt to change them, even in the light of new evidence. If the programmer is smart enough, he can get an alter to logically believe anything. Once the belief is embedded, it will remain there tenaciously. In the previously book, it was discussed how indoctrination is done. I will provide more of the details on how indoctrination is accomplished, because it is not being done by rational logical thinking. Rather, the programmer or cult leaders want to access a person's non-logical imaginative right brain. In order to do that, he must distract the left brain. Bill Clinton, an Illuminati handler of slaves, and a good liar, has his speeches prepared in such a way that they take advantage of the brain's natural function to manipulate it. Bill Clinton, when he gives a speech, will initiate it by pushing everybody's green buttons. He will say a number of things that everyone wants to hear and will agree with. This is called generating a yes set. There will be a number of these. The number of these often desired is 3. Then the second stage is to bring in truisms that are facts that after the audience has already been mentally saying yes, the audience will probably accept these facts without any disagreement. Finally, after the approx. 3 yes sets, the approx. 3 truisms, Bill will plant the suggestion, such as support me in such and such. On important points, Bill will move his left hand to help embed certain commands to his viewers. He will also use some simple hand signals / codes to trigger mind-controlled slaves too. He will ask during his talks for people to imagine or visualize what he wants for them. Again, this is manipulation directed at the right brain. One of the most crucial things that protects the mind control of the Illuminati is the frame of reference and you may build into people from the cradle to the grave. Our previous experience and the information we have available directly influences how we assign meaning to information we receive. The Illuminati's control over so much of society allows them to create people's frames of references. Fragments of information that people receive which do not relate to the person's frame of reference will be discarded. A person needs a place in his frame of reference to hang information on. The person may puzzle over the tidbits of incongruent fragments, being unable to relate them to his worldview. He finds himself unable to file the fragments away in a meaningful manner. Some of the front alters of very well-controlled slaves have in worldviews, frames of references that believe, A, there is no such thing as satanic ritual abuse, B, there is no such thing as a conspiracy, C, there is no such thing as absolute truth, D, there is no such thing as sin, E, there is no connection between God, living a moral life, and finding truth. And there is no such thing as multiple personality disorder. My religious organization can do no wrong. Making a fundamental change in our frame of reference is a frightening task. This is why victims of total mind control who have been programmed not to believe that a new world order conspiracy exists, and not to believe Satanism and Azari exist, and then they are being placed in a culture that reinforces this programming, end up being extremely hard to break, free of their mind control. This is where mind control victims can begin to see the significance of all the fragments of clues that they discarded are very valuable. This offer has met a number of mind control victims who didn't know what their problem was, but had countless clues in their life. These clues were useless fragments of information until they were given a framework to use them. For instance, one victim of Illuminati total mind control knew nothing about the significance of the Illuminati bloodlines, nor who the bloodlines were. She stated that her relatives were so and so, and it was then pointed out to her that she was from Illuminati bloodlines on both sides, and the significance of the bloodlines was gone over. Now a meaningless piece of information, her genealogy, had been given a framework and meaning. But this was just one area of many which the establishment has carefully controlled us to have misunderstandings about. Understanding her heritage allowed her to understand why she was selected for mind control, when it seemed to her that others might have been better candidates. Occult philosophies by their very nature create frames of references that make it hard to see reality and to see the truth in Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The New Age, witchcraft, and Hindu idea that all paths lead to God is utter nonsense. The idea that Christians are narrow-minded is nonsense, but is a common idea taught by many people. It is narrow-minded to insist that Christians must go to the same place Hindus end up if Christians seek truth. The New Agers see only one track for truth seekers, since they hold all paths lead to God. The concept is even illustrated by the wheel in India's flag. All spokes on the wheel lead to the same center point of the circle. The biblical Christians see two tracks for truth seekers -- some don't find God and truth, but rather find an imitation of the truth and end up eternally lost, while some do find God and truth. Perhaps at this point the reader is getting slightly upset because he or she is thinking, Fritz is preaching what he believes, and is also thinking, there is no absolute truth. That is exactly my point. By accepting the lie -- the programming lie -- the frame of reference -- the paradigm that there is no absolute truth, then every time a fragment of absolute truth comes to you, you will reject it. When I showed evidence to two followers of Jay-Z Knight was / is a mind-controlled slave who has set up an Illuminati-front religion in Washington state where converts are subjected to mind control techniques, that children were being sacrificed by satanic covens, and that this was evidence of satanic ritual abuse. Their worldview could not accept the concept of absolute wrongs and sin. They responded, these satanists may well be killing their babies, but that is not abuse. That is only your idea. It's just your idea that it is abuse. It's not abuse to these people. In review, one of the hardest shells protecting the programming of a total mind-controlled slave is when the front part of their system, which holds the body regularly, has been indoctrinated into a frame of reference that will not allow them to see the reality of what is being done to make and keep them in slavery. A final example of this are the zealots of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, who are mind-controlled zealots. These zealots, who are launching a counterattack against books like this, have had their worldviews carefully constructed by a combination of several techniques of persuasion, aimed as indoctrination, these subliminal messages via the TV and other places in their lives, see controlled education, and linguistic programming, in addition to all their regular trauma-based programming. It's like their worldview is the hard varnish that is first seen and heard, protecting people, even themselves, from realizing that the underlying motivation of these zealots is not their worldview, but total mind control programming. In which direct, the cosmology that is taught is that a person is originally swirls or vortexes of energy. This, coupled with a belief in reincarnation, allows the mind-controlled victims' witchcraft altars to believe that they began with some molecules of energy forming, and that death is nothing, because everything continues on a vast wheel of reincarnation. The beliefs that are inserted into people via witchcraft are conducive to locking the person into their servitude.
Rap plays. banging out the hit, all underground.
Health boost. Health Boost.
Welcome back, D-Boy. Just stay in one place for the downstream.
You know I can't
You
do
have
that.
not had your required rest. Listen now and move later, D-Boy.
I'm not
Your
caring
perception
about
is in an altered state.
I know.
You should rest and jack back in later to continue your research.
gotta find out
Just
more.
remember, D-Boy, this is only a table of contents. You may want to go to other lower level servers to research for future past keys and passes.
We'll do that.
You have programmed me to replay all streams on each server. I will do the same here. Do not let all of this data drive you crazy. Rest soon and come back later. Would you like music as normal, D-Boy? Okay. Understood, D-Boy. I have recovered the Illuminati Secret Society's timeline.
Spit it.
Data stream 100% and buffered. There are more data on this server.
Bit.
I will stream all data from all servers as soon as you jack inside. Here it is, D-Boy, dawn of time to 1000 CE Alpha and Omega immanentizing of the escape. 20 million BC recent epoch geology begins, Ice Age ends, human beings spread to all parts of the world. 30,000 first Illuminatus, Gruad, rules in Atlantis. 20,000 mythical lawyer inhabit continent of Mu. 10,000 approximate beginning of agriculture. Estimated date of inscriptions on stone discs by the Drapa tribe, a diminutive people of the Mayan Kerala Mountains on the border of China and Tibet. Discs describe how the tribe came to Earth in flying machines. Ancient Drapa graves contain human
Health
remains with
boost.
huge heads
Health
and
boost.
small bodies.
Health
Earliest
boost.
estimated date of carving of the crystal skull
boost.
found at Lubantu in the Yucatan. Hyborian age in
Health
Europe.
boost.
9,000
Health
to
boost.
10,000
Health
date of
boost.
Plato's Atlantis. 6,000 picture writing develops. 5,000 first alphabet begins to develop. 4,000 approximate date of discovery of metals, beginning of cities, constellations of stars first recorded. Egyptians begin placing small pieces of crystal on the forehead of deceased prior to mummification. 3113 BC. Trepanation, cutting a hole in the skull, practiced by people all over the world. 3,000 approximate date of building of the Sphinx and Great Pyramid at Giza and other pyramids elsewhere in Egypt. Indus Valley civilization develops complex government, writing and well-planned cities. Minoan civilization flourishes in Crete. Earliest parts of the Bible written. Beginning date of Olmec calendar from Central America. 2500 Sarmoun Brotherhood of Babylonia flourish according to Gurdjieff. 2100 Egyptians record star configurations on which the 24-hour day is based. 2000 Stonehenge and other stone circles built in England. 1800 huge silvery mound constructed near Stonehenge. 1700 Babylonian Enuma, early roots of astrology based on celestial phenomena. 1500 approximate date of the destruction of Thra, on which Atlantis legends are probably based. Geomagnetism on cuneiform astronomical tests. Quadrants of the moon recorded in China. 1,360 Akhenatons monotheistic sun worship in Egypt. 1,344 Tutankhamun, Akhenaton's successor in polytheism, buried at Thebes. Curse reading, death comes on swift wings to he who opens his tomb, written onto doorway. 1,300 approximate date I Ching written in China. 1,184 end of the Trojan War, Ilium falls to the Greeks. 1002 2000 legendary Thule civilization in the Gobi region destroyed by a catastrophe, possibly of an atomic nature, survivors migrating to Agartha and Shambhala. 1000 huge sacrificial table built at Mystery Hill near North Salem, New Hampshire. 950 approximate date the building of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem, traditional origin of the Masonic fraternity, alleged assassination of Temple Master Mason Hiram for refusing to reveal Masonic secrets. 900 approximate time settlers from Europe and the Middle East established colonies in North America. 822 moon stations in monthly lunar cycle recognized in Babylonia, India and China. 753 legendary founding of Rome by Romulus. 700 Jordanian city of Petra is carved out of sandstone by a known culture. 600 approximate beginning of money with first coins in Lydia. 575 Nebuchadnezzar completes building Tower of Babel in Babylon. 500 to 600 time of Buddha, Lao Tzu, Confucius, Zarathustra, Orpheus, Pythagoras, Zechariah and Daniel an illuminated century. 500 Sun says Treatise on the Art of War, First Intelligence Manual. 485 Execution of stories decided in Rome. 450 development of the 12 constellations of the zodiac in Mesopotamia, recognizing the importance of the plane of the elliptic through which the sun, moon and planets move. 440 assassination of Sporys Molis. 400 Druidism in England, astrological ideas from Inuit transmitted to India.
Rap blade, banging out the hit, all underground.
Welcome back, B-boy. Just stay in one place for the downstream. You have not had your required rest. Listen now and move later, B-boy. Your perception is in an altered state. You should rest and jack back in later to continue your research. Just remember, B-boy, this is only a table of contents. You may want to go to other lower level servers to research for future past keys and passes. You have programmed me to replay all streams on each server. I will do the same here. Do not let all of this data drive you crazy. Rest soon and come back later. Would you like music as normal, D-boy? Okay, understood, D-boy. I have recovered the Illuminati Secret Society's timeline. Data stream 100% and buffered. There are more data on this server. I will stream all data from all servers as soon as you jack inside. Here it is, D-boy, dawn of time to 1000 CE Alpha and Omega immanentizing of the Iscan. 20 million BC recent epoch geology begins, Ice Age ends, human beings spread to all parts of the world. 30,000 first Illuminatus, Gruad, rules in Atlantis. 20,000 mythical lawyer inhabit continent of Mu. 10,000 approximate beginning of agriculture. Estimated date of inscriptions on stone discs by the Drapa tribe, a diminutive people of the Mayan Kerala Mountains on the border of China and Tibet. Discs describe how the tribe came to Earth in flying machines. Ancient Drapa graves contain human remains with huge heads and small bodies. Earliest estimated date of carving of the crystal skull found at Lubantu in the Yucatan. Hyborian Age in Europe. 9,000 to 10,000 date of Plato's Atlantis. 6,000 picture writing develops. 5,000 first alphabet begins to develop. 4,000 approximate date of discovery of metals, beginning of cities, constellations of stars first recorded. Egyptians begin placing small pieces of crystal on the forehead of deceased prior to mummification. 3113 BC. Trepanation, cutting a hole in the skull, practiced by people all over the world. 3,000 approximate date of building of the Sphinx and Great Pyramid at Giza and other pyramids elsewhere in Egypt. Indus Valley civilization develops complex government, writing and well-planned cities. Minoan civilization flourishes in Crete. Earliest parts of the Bible written. Beginning date of Olmec calendar from Central America. 2500 Sarmoun Brotherhood of Babylonia flourish according to Gurdjieff. 2100 Egyptians record star configurations on which the 24-hour day is based. 2000 Stonehenge and other stone circles built in England. 1,800 huge silvery mound constructed near Stonehenge. 1,700 Babylonian Enuma, early roots of astrology based on celestial phenomena. 1,500 approximate date of the destruction of Thra, on which Atlantis legends are probably based. Early references to Mithraism on cuneiform astronomical tests. Quadrants of the moon recorded in China. 1,360 Akhenatons monotheistic sun worship in Egypt. 1,344 Tutankhamun, Akhenaton's successor who revived polytheism, buried at Thebes. Curse reading, death comes on swift wings to he who opens his tomb, written on tomb doorway. 1,300 approximate date I Ching written in China. 1,184 end of the Trojan War, Ilium falls to the Greeks. 1,000 to 2,000 legendary Thule civilization in the Gobi region destroyed by a catastrophe, possibly of an atomic nature, survivors migrating to Agartha and Shambhala. 1,000 huge sacrificial table built at Mystery Hill near North Salem, New Hampshire. 950 approximate date of building of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem, traditional origin of the Masonic fraternity, alleged assassination of Temple Master Mason Hiram for refusing to reveal Masonic secrets. 900 approximate time settlers from Europe and the Middle East established colonies in North America. 822 moon stations in monthly lunar cycle recognized in Babylonia, India and China. 753 legendary founding of Rome by Romulus. 700 Jordanian city of Petra is carved out of sandstone by unknown culture. 600 approximate beginning of money with first coins in Lydia. 575 Nebuchadnezzar completes building Tower of Babel in Babylon. 500 to 600 time of Buddha, Lao Tzu, Confucius, Zarathustra, Orpheus, Pythagoras, Zechariah and Daniel an illuminated century. 500 Sun says Treatise on the Art of War, First Intelligence Manual. 485 Execution of Spores Caesarus in Rome. 450 Development of the 12 constellations of the zodiac in Mesopotamia, recognizing the importance of the plane of the ecliptic through which the sun, moon and planets move. 440 Assassination of Spores Miles. 400 Druidism in England, astrological ideas from Enuma Elish transmitted to India. 390 Approximate date Plato's The Republic written, featuring such illuminoid images as the Philosopher Kings, the Divided Line and the Parable of the Cave. 355 Plato's Time Mayos and Krishas, earliest accounts of Atlantis. 300 Invention of Mayan calendar in Yucatan, based on advanced astronomy. Thabu's family of Rome reaches its greatest heights. 275 Approximate date Greek poet Aratus makes first cinematic record of star constellations in phenomena. 273 to 232 Rule of Ashoka, king of India who allegedly founded the Nine Unknown. 212 Archimedes uses burning blast to set fire to Roman fleet at Syracuse, early use of lens as weapon. 133 Land reformer Tiberius Gracchus murdered and hundreds of his followers killed by followers of powerful Roman patricians, death of Scipio Africanus a few years later. 121 Gaius Gracchus and 3,000 of his followers massacred by patricians. 100 The great teacher of the essentials of modern astrology worked out. 95 Approximate date of assassination of Saturninus and Glaucia. 92 Assassination of Rutilius Rufus. 91 Assassination of Livius Drusus. 73 Revolt of gladiators led by Spartacus. 44 Assassination of Julius Caesar. 4 Birth of Jesus of Nazareth, accompanied by various illuminoid trappings. 3 Early men in black disguised as the wise men, strange lights in the sky, miracles such as visits from angels, prophecy and suspension of time are reported. 0 Carnation painted eyebrows society, copper horses, iron shins and other secret societies active in China. CE 30 Assassination of the radical Jesus, allegedly on Illuminati orders, more illuminoid trappings, an eclipse, an earthquake, visitors from the sky roll away the stone from the sepulchre and liberate the crucified Jesus. 100 Hero of Alexandria devises primitive steam engine. 125 to 150 Simon Magus, Menander, Valentinus and others develop Gnostic religious doctrines of esoteric knowledge, illumination. 135 Approximate date Ptolemy records 1022 stars in Almagest, also recorded astrological ideas from Enuma Elish in his Apoplasmatica. 150 Roman Mithraism competes with Christianity. Yellow Turban Society subdues northern China, triad cult formed in opposition. 201st Book of the Kabbalah, Sefer Yetzirah, compiled. 216 to 276 Life of Money, the Illuminator, who founded Manichaeism, based on ideas from Judaism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Gnosticism, etc. 325 Council of Nicaea in which Christian begins to rigidify. 500 Chinese use of gunpowder. 572 632 Life of Muhammad, founder of Islam. 670 estimated date of carving of stone statues found on Easter. Helenicus invents Greek fire, primitive incendiary bomb. 673 to 735 Life of the Venerable Bede, the greatest scholar of Saxon England whose ecclesiastical history of England 731 contained many occult and unexplained occurrences. 700 Sufi mysticism begins. 730 Al-Azif written in Damascus by Abdul al-Hazred. 772 Charlemagne allegedly established Holy Secret Tribunal which becomes the Holy Vim. 850 Ismaili and Fatimid missionaries throughout Islamic Empire preach revolution against the ruling Sunni order and abusive state. 900 Beginning of the Bodo Mills of Bulgaria, a Manichaean sect, roots of Cathari. 909 First Fatimid Caliph in Egypt. 922 1003 Life of Pope Sylvester I who allegedly visited the Nine Unknown in India. 950 Al-Azif translated into Greek as Necronomicon. 1000 Approximate founding of the city cult by Sufi Shiketi in Iraq. Abode of learning active in Cairo. Spread of Cathari Manichaeism throughout Europe. Life Erickson explores North America. 1034 to 1124. Life of Hassani Saba, founder of the Assassins of Persia. Member of the Ismaili sect, Hassan seized fortress of Alamut in Daylan in 1090, split with Fatimid dynasty in 1094, assassins flourished for next several centuries. 1050 approximate date of founding of the Order of Hospitallers in Jerusalem. 1058 member of the Abode of Learning sect gains temporary control of Baghdad. 1092 assassins murder Persian minister Nizam al-Mulk. 1095 First Crusade. 1100 approximate date Sufi Jilani founds Arabic school of Illuminati, Qadiri order of Spalal Ward, in Baghdad. Assassins infiltrate the cult of India. Bono mill leader Basil burned in Constantinople. Albigensian Cathari sect flourishes near Albi, France. Avengers and Beati Pauli active in Italy. Joachim of Flores founds primitive Christian sect, Illuminated Ones. Robin Hood active in England. 1119 Knights Templar founded in Palestine. 1123 Abode of Learning suppressed by Turkish Vizier Iftal. 1140 Rapid growth of Cathari sect begins. 1149 First Cathari bishop established. 1162 to 1227 Life of Genghis Khan, conqueror of China and Russia, invader of Europe and Islamic Empire, destroyer of Assassin power. Approximate beginnings of the wandering of the gypsies of North India. 1167 Cathari Council near Toulouse. 1170 Assassination of Thomas a Becket. 1171 Last Fatimid Caliph dies. 1176 Peter Waldo founds the Poor Men of Leon. Sultan Saladin invades Assassin territory, gains truce. 1184 Waldenses excommunicated, suppressed. 1200 to 1300 House of Wisdom in Cairo, roots of the Afghan Roshaniya, origin of the Mafia in Sicily. 1208 Albigensian Crusade begins suppression of Cathari heresy. 1212 The Children's Crusade. Genghis Khan invades China. 1233 Founding of the Inquisition to suppress Cathari and other heresies. 1235 to 1315 Life of Dr. Illuminatus, Ramon Uy Raymond Lully in Spain. 1241 Mongols invade Europe through wise use of intelligence, information and strategy, introduce gunpowder from Asia. 1244 Massacre of Cathari at Montségur, France. 1250s Approximate beginning of Holyvim in Westphalia. Approximate time of Uladu Khan's defeat of the Assassins. 1254 to 1324. Life of Marco Polo, early European traveler in China, Persia. 1258 Uladu Khan destroys Baghdad, Mongols destroy Mesopotamia, the mother of civilization. 1260 Mongol invasion of Islamic Empire turned back. 1270s Cathari hierarchy fades. 1275 Assembly of Traveling Mason Guilds in Frankfurt. Zohar, second book of the Kabbalah, compiled by Moses de Leon in Spain. 1280 Roger Bacon, deviser of early eyeglasses, independently invents gunpowder. 1291 Hospitallers retreat to Cyprus. 1300 White Lotus Society founded in China. Inquisition begins suppression of witches and other pagan groups. 1307 Philippide of France suppresses Knights Templar for witchcraft and heresies. Shot de Molay imprisoned in the temple in Paris. 1308 Assassination of Holy Roman Emperor Albert I. 1309 Hospitallers acquire the Isle of Rhodes. 1313 Knights Templar dissolved by papal decree. 1314 de Molay and others burned in Paris. 1327 Assassination of King Edward I in England. 1329 First appearance of the tarot in Germany. 1360 Approximate date of the earliest known satanic cults, Black Masses celebrated in France. 1369 Tamerlane becomes Great Khan. 1375 Another assembly of traveling Mason guilds in Frankfurt. 1379 to 1482 Alleged life of Christian Rosencreuz, fictitious founder of Rosicrucianism. 1390 Gypsies begin to appear in Europe. 1400s Cathari sect dies out. Concave lenses developed. 1404 King Robert revises Code of Holyvim. 1410 Secret society formed in Italy which eventually joins with Rosicrucianism. 1437 Assassination of King James I of Scotland. 1456 Gutenberg Bible begins modern printing. 1458 The Bremlin's Book of Sacred Magic translated from Hebrew to French according to followers of the cult of the Guardian Angel. 1471 Assassination of King Henry VI of England. 1472 University of Ingolstadt founded. Fernando Poo discovers Fernando Poo. 1483 Assassination of King Edward V of England. 1492 Rodrigo Borgia, head of the powerful Borgia family, becomes Pope Alexander VI. Columbus sails the ocean blue. 1493 to 1541 Life of Paracelsus, possible founder of Rosicrucianism, discoverer of zinc around 1530, model of the Faust legend. 1500 Approximate date of Russia, illuminated ones, in Afghanistan. Beginning of alumbrados in Spain and charcoal burners in Scotland. Cesar Borgia has his brother-in-law assassinated. 1502 Cesar Borgia arrests and executes enemies who have conspired against him. 1503 to 1566 Life of Nostradamus, visionary prophet. 1507 Fra Dolcino's version of Joachim's Illuminism suppressed by the Bishop of Erquil. 1510 Beginning of systematic importation of African slaves into the West Indies. 1513 Machiavelli's The Prince published. 1519 Spanish conquest of Mexico, enslavement of Amerindians. 1522 Hospitallers lose roads to the Turks. 1530 Hospitallers given Isle of Malta by Charles V, become Knights of Malta. 1537 Assassination of Alessandro de' Medici, Duke of Florence. 1568 First Inquisition edict against the Alumbrados. 1574 Second edict against Alumbrados. 1575 Approximate date of founding of British intelligence services. 1575 to 1624 Life of Jacob Boehme, visionary mystic, illuminated one. 1584 Assassination of William I of Orange in England. 1587 English colony established at Roanoke Island, Virginia. No trace of the lost colony was found when supply ships returned 3 years later. 1589 Assassination of King Henry II of France. 1590 Janssen makes first compound microscope in Europe. 1597 Anonymous alchemist seeks to start Rosicrucian-like society in Europe. 1605 Rosicrucian Constitution published. 1607 Italian secret society headed by Count Bernard of Germany merges with Rosicrucianism. First permanent English settlement in America, Jamestown, Virginia. 1608 Apprentice to Dutch spectacle maker Lippershey discovers principle of focusing lenses. Lippershey builds first telescope. 1609 Galileo independently builds telescope, begins study of astronomy. Spanish settlement at Santa Fe, New Mexico, founded. 1610 Assassination of King Henry IV of France. 1614 Fama Fraternitatis published, fictional story of Rosencreuz by Johann Valentin Andrea. 1619 First slave ship in America, Jamestown, Virginia. 1620 Plymouth Colony, second English settlement, arrives on Mayflower. 1622 Posters appear in Paris warning that the Rosicrucians are amongst you. Visibly and invisibly. 1623 Final papal edict against Alumbrados, Iranettes appear in France. First submarine built by Cornelius van Drebbel in England. 1638 Milton meets Galileo. 1640 Beginning of subliminal persuasion when Rembrandt embeds the word sex in a painting. 1642 Civil war in England between King Charles and Parliament. 1646 Earliest known Masonic lodge to allow non-professional or free Masons in Warrington, England. 1647 Alleged correspondence between Cromwell and Ebenezer Pratt plotting the overthrow of King Charles. 1649 King Charles convicted and beheaded by Parliament. 1654 Illuminated Iranettes come to public notice in France. 1667 Milton's Paradise Lost published. 1675 Leeuwenhoek discovers animalcules through the microscope. 1676 Sperm discovered by Leeuwenhoek's student Ham. 1680 Emil Voisin, innovator of modern Satanism, executed in Paris. 1682 Tamanend, sachem and chief of the Lenni-Lenape tribe, welcomes William Penn to America, traditionally considered the beginning of the Tammany Society. 1689 William I of Orange becomes King of England, allegedly through the plotting of the Illuminati. 1694 Bank of England founded. 1700 Quietism of Fenelon and others. 1701 Earliest record of operative or professional Masonic lodge in Alnwick, England. 1702 First daily newspaper in England. 1717 Founding of modern Freemasonry with the Grand Lodge of London by de Séguliers. Voltaire imprisoned in the Bastille. 1721 British King George I cracks down on the flourishing Hellfire clubs, popular satanistic cults. 1723 Anderson's Constitutions of the Freemasons published. The Treaties and Conium and other early anti-Masonic works published. 1724 Publication of the Anti-Masonic Grand Mysteries of the Freemasons discovered. 1731 Benjamin Franklin initiated into Freemasonry. 1734 Franklin elected Grand Master of Pennsylvania. 1736 Death of the last leader of the Afghan Illuminated Ones. 1749 Rousseau's spontaneous enlightenment launches the Romantic movement. 1750 Hellfire clubs continue to flourish in Dublin and London. Fictional alchemist Joseph Corwin writes letter stating, "I last night struck on ye words that bring up huge Zotafi, perhaps the real power behind the Illuminati." 1754 6-year-old Adam Weishaupt is orphaned and goes to live with the Jesuits. 1757 First year of Swedenborg's New Era. 1759 Voltaire's Candide published. 1760 Saint Germain founds chemical dye factory in Holland. Forerunner of I.G. Thurbin disappears with 100,000 guilders. Franklin invents bifocals. 1761 Saint Germain discovered living in Russia. Chinese emperor issues edict against secret societies. 1762 Illumines of France founded. Sandwich invented. 1763 Swedenborg's Doctrine of Life for the New Jerusalem published. 1764 Voltaire's Philosophical Dictionary published. He begins a prodigious attack on dogmas of church and state. 1765 British Stamp Act imposed to help pay for the French and Indian War debt. Sons of Liberty clubs formed to resist the tax. 1767 Townshend Revenue Act, another British tax on the colonies. Could kidnapped into American slavery. 1768 Virginia's legislature dissolved for its opposition to the Townshend Act. Weishaupt graduates from the University of Ingolstadt, becomes tutor and catechist. McThurguhar, Ball and Smelly begin compiling the Encyclopedia Britannica. Mesmer commissions 12-year-old Mozart's first opera, Bastion and Bastian. 1770 Boston Massacre, British troops fire into a crowd. Townshend Act repealed. 1771 Encyclopedia Britannica published. 1772 Weishaupt becomes professor at University of Ingolstadt. 1773 British tea tax on colonies. Boston Tea Party in protest. Weishaupt narrates alleged meeting of Meyer Rothschild and others to plan a world revolution. Suppression of the Jesuits. Franklin's rule by which a great empire may be reduced to a small one published. 1774 Britain's Intolerable Acts designed to punish rebellious colonies. First Continental Congress. Washington begins training troops. Louis XVI becomes King of France. Casanova becomes secret agent for the Inquisitors of Venice. Catherine I shuts down satiric journals in Russia. Jefferson's Summary View of the Rights of British Americans published. 1775 Second Continental Congress authorizes naval warships, sets up secret committee to procure weapons, names Washington Commander-in-Chief of the new American Army. George III proclaims America in open rebellion. Initial battles of the Revolutionary War, Lexington, Bunker Hill, Ticonderoga. Bushnell's first experimental submarine and torpedo tested. Prince Hall Lodges, for blacks, chartered by Grand Lodge of London, rejected by American lodges. 1776 Illuminati founded by Weishaupt. American Declaration of Independence, written by Jefferson, adopted by Continental Congress. Battles of Long Island, White Plains and Trenton. Nathan Hale executed as spy by British. Franklin becomes ambassador to France, is affiliated with French Masonic lodges. Opening of Freemasons Hall, permanent headquarters of English Masonry. Cagliostro initiated into a Mason. Sidon captured by Tayson brothers. Aaron Burr serves as assistant to Benedict Arnold. Thomas Paine's Common Sense and the Crisis widely read. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations published. 1777 Weishaupt joins Munich Lodge of the Order of Good Counsel. Articles of Confederation adopted by Continental Congress. Battles of Bennington. Vision of the future of the United States while at Valley Forge. War of Bavarian Secession begins. 1778 France recognizes American independence, signs treaty and provides aid. Franklin assists in the initiation of Voltaire into a Masonic Lodge of Paris. Masonic Convention in Lyon organizes Knights of Beneficence. 1779 John Paul Jones says, "Damn the torpedoes." Benedict Arnold becomes a traitor and spy for the British. War of Bavarian Secession ends. 1780 John Andre, British agent, captured with secret documents from Arnold. Arnold escapes to join British. Andre hanged as spy. Weishaude's wife dies. Illuminati begins rapid growth. First use of the title Odd Fellows. Order of the Brotherhood of Asia, Rosicrucian offshoots, founded. 1781 Battle of Guilford Courthouse, surrendered of Cornwallis at Yorktown. John Hanson becomes first president of the United States in Congress assembled. Weishaude seeks abortion for his sister-in-law while awaiting dispensation to marry her. United Masonic Lodges of Hamburg headed by Fraxenius, a secret Rosicrucian. Kant's Critique of Pure Reason published. 1782 British cabinet agrees to recognize American independence. Preliminary agreement signed in Paris. Hanson commissions the Eye in the Pyramid, Great Seal, finishes term. Elias Houdino elected second president of Congress assembled. Illuminati dominate European masonry. Casanova retires as secret agent. 1783 treaty signed between America and England. Washington disbands army, resigns. Hanson dies. Thomas Mifflin, third president of Congress assembled. Ex-Illuminati Dutch Nieder sends letter denouncing the order to a monarch at Bavaria. Rite of Swedenborg founded by Marquis de Throne. Eclectic Rite founded by Baron Dig in Frankfurt. Webster's American Spelling Book published. 1784 treaty with England ratified by Congress. Richard Henry Lee, fourth president of Congress assembled. Bavarian monarch Karl Theodor outlaws secret societies. Cagliostro moves to Leon from Bordeaux to found the Mother Lodge of Egyptian Masonry. Royal Commission in Paris, including Franklin and Guillotine as members, investigates mesmerism and returns a negative report. 1785 Weishaude flees to Gotha, new edict outlaws Illuminati, high-ranking Illuminatus Lensch killed by lightning and Illuminati papers found on body by police. French diamond necklace affair. Napoleon graduates military school. Franklin returns to America, Jefferson becomes French ambassador. Rosicrucian order suppressed in Austria. Anonymous pamphlet appears in Germany revealing secrets of ancient Egyptian ceremonies. 1786 Wisdom Lodge founded in Virginia. Secret Congress in Frankfurt where Louis XVI and Gustavus II of Sweden condemned to die by Illuminati. Italian Illuminatus Buonarroti's library of Masonic and subversive books confiscated by state authorities. Nathaniel Gorham, fifth president of Congress assembled. Napoleon writes pamphlet defending Rousseau. 1787 German authorities publish letter by Weishaude admitting he sought abortion for his sister-in-law. Weishaude replies, blaming extenuating circumstances. German Union extension of outlawed Bavarian Illuminati, founded by Dirt. Washington elected president of Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, new constitution adopted by the convention. Arthur Street Clare, sixth president of Congress assembled. Jefferson meets secretly in Paris with Brazilian rebel to discuss American aid to revolution in Brazil. Shays rebellion in Massachusetts to protest unfair taxes. Good visits Cagliostro's family in Palermo. Swedenborgian Church founded in London. Society for the Abolition of the African Slave Trade founded in London. 1788 American Constitution ratified by the states. Individual American states begin to outlaw slavery. Cyrus Griffin, seventh president of Congress assembled.